What's going on? Raven Ritual 666 back from the dead with another Diablo 4 build guide. I just want to introduce my new Meteor Storm Sorc for Season 3. This by far has been one of the builds I've had the most fun playing when it comes to any class, and especially with Sorcerer. It's a really good endgame build. It's quite good for leveling from level 50 plus. I will provide the full link and the full build description below, so please check it out. But let's talk why this build is so good this season. Well, we've got the buffs to Meteor. So now with the new unique helmet, the Starfall Coronet, pretty much we can not rely on mana for that skill. So we can use our mana to cool down blizzards, and then we can use our cooldowns to pull down the meteors, and this build just makes you feel like a god. So let's look here at the training dummies, just to show you, as an example, the damage we can do and why this build works so well. So initially starting the fight, you're just going to drop the blizzards, you hit Frost Nova. The Seneschal construct's going to be applying a lot of elements. We've got our ultimate with a fairly low cooldown, and you can just see that I've got almost infinite mana here. We can rotate defensive skills to keep up a barrier, and it is just so much fun. You can even chuck a basic in there if you need to, but this skill can be ran without a basic, as you see here by how much mana we have. So numbers, and just godly-like damage. So let's get into the build around why it is good this season. So starting over with the skill tree. Firstly, we are picking up Arc Lash, just as it's another way to provide another element. So 1 point into Arc Lash, 1 point into Enhanced Arc Lash. For leveling, you could probably go into Glinting Arc Lash and take that point back off later. Next, 1 point into Devastation, just so we can get down to Elemental Dominance. It's a mastery skill build, so you want 3 points in here, so that you can get the 9% increased damage when cast above 50 mana. Over into our defensive skills, Flame Shield's great. It does help, provide that unstoppable. And 1 point then into Shimmering Flame. It's a nice little bit of passive health regen. It saves you needing to pop the potions. Just 1 point in the teleport is fine. You can actually take this point out if you get ranks to defensive skills on your amulet, or if you have it on your boots. Therefore, you could put that point into probably Frigid Breeze. We go 1 point into Frost Nova, 1 point into Enhanced Frost Nova, 1 point into Mystical, so we get that vulnerable and that huge crowd control by applying Frozen. 3 points into Precision Magic for your lucky hit chance. It is still a lucky hit build, and we are going to be using Avalanche as our key passive. 1 point into Align the Elements, just like every Sorc build, we're going 3 into Mana Shield for the DR, and 3 into Protection, because we are constantly using a defensive skill, which is keeping us in a barrier, which is why we get such good survivability. Over into the Mastery tree, and this is where we're getting the damage. You're going to go 5 points into Blizzard, 1 point into Enhanced Blizzard, because it does increase damage to frozen enemies. 1 point into Mage's Blizzard to increase the duration. We're going 5 points into Meteor to increase the damage. 1 point into Enhanced Meteor, and 1 point into Wizard's Meteor. It's a tough choice between Mage's Meteor and Wizard's Meteor, but the Immobilize is just far too good. If we had a few more points, we would be able to go into Mage's Meteor to cool it down faster, and then use Crippling Flames, but after testing, it's just... we can better utilize those 3 points elsewhere. Now, where the damage is going to come from, 1 into Inner Flames, but 3 into Devouring Blaze. Devouring Blaze is by far one of the best passives for Sorcerer. And with 3 points from your amulet, you're going to get 42% increased crit strike damage against burning enemies. And if they are immobilized, this bonus is increased to 60%, which is huge. 1 point into Inferno, 1 point into Prime Inferno. Now, if you don't have the unique helmet, I do recommend putting 1 point into Supreme Inferno. That way, when you have your Inferno up, you can just cast unlimited meteors. So you would go Blizzard, Blizzard, Blizzard until you're out of mana, hit your Inferno, and then just infinite meteors while that is up for the whole duration. Once you've got the Starfall Coronet, you can take that point back out, and if you need to save one for the time being, I recommend just taking one out of Glass Cannon, because we do go 3 points into Glass Cannon, You can take that out. If you're finding you're lacking survivability, you can take those points out. You could put it more into the lucky hit to reset your defensive skills. Or extra points into your mana regen for Frigid Breeze if you're lacking in the mana. But for the end game guide, we just want the 2 points for Inferno. 1 point into Fiery Surge, 1 point into Endless Pyre. Now, when I was initially crafting this build, there was no form of passive health regen, so 3 points into Warmth is fantastic. In turn, Inferno turns into almost a healing skill, which still means we can apply damage with Blizzard and Meteors. And with the aspect, with that leaves burning on the ground, with your Meteors, that is going to give you some passive health regen, which is great. Now, finally, for the capstone, we are going with Avalanche. So, Avalanche means your Frost skills have up to a 10% chance to make your next cast of Ice Shards, Frozen Orb, or more importantly, Blizzard, consume no mana, and deal 40% increased damage. The chance is doubled against vulnerable enemies, which is amazing. You can just keep casting Blizzards, and then rotate your Meteor every time it's off cooldown. I am going to do a bit more testing on stream, so you can find me live on Twitch from Thursdays to Saturdays, where I will be doing a bit of testing with Isu's Ferocity, but currently we are running Avalanche. Okay, so next into the Seneschal construct. So, we're using Focus Fire and Lightning Bolt. The main point of our Seneschal construct is to be applying additional elements, and that is helping boost our ring, which is Tal Rashes. So I'll get to that in a little bit. So let's have a look. So why Focus Fire is applying a ray of fire. We want to use Poison Support. It's an extra element that we can apply. Dust Support, Shadow Damage, an extra element that we can apply that Sorcerer can't normally do. And then Bleeding Support. If you don't have them, you could put anything else that you have for the time being. But you can see the damage I'm doing, and my Tuning Stones and Governing Stones aren't even completely ranked up yet. So I'll show you actually right now while we're here. You can see what the Seneschal construct is doing. So you ready? He's applying stun for me. That was from our boots from Audacity. So if you look here, the Seneschal construct is just doing multiple attacks, applying multiple stuns, which we're getting a huge damage buff off because of our control aspect. So next we are using on our Lightning Bolt arcing support because it can arc, hitting 5 additional enemies. Along with our electrocution support, that is providing us an increased chance to stun. So the Seneschal construct is consistently applying stun, which works amazing with our control aspect. And the last stone we pick up is Swift Support, just as an attack speed bonus, so we can get those stuns more consistently. The full information on the Seneschal construct is in the build guide below. So let's look at our gear. So on the helmet, this is the new unique that makes Meteor shine. It's got amazing rolls of life, cooldown reduction, but you get +4 ranks into Meteor, and when you're over 10 ranks, you get that blue flame of the Meteor, which just makes it feel amazing and really like a good Meteor Storm. Plus lucky hit chance, which is amazing for this build, because we're getting more procs of Avalanche. The chest piece we are currently using for life, armor, and damage reduction. You can use the raiment. I've tested the raiment on and off, and we'll come to that in a little bit. The gloves, we are just going attack speed, crit chance, primary resource is fantastic. And when this aspect, Glacial, is the most important part. I wasn't running this, and I was running Meteorites Fall from the Sky, but Blizzard doesn't really do work without Glacial, and this is just such an important part of the build, so highly recommend chucking this on the gloves. Pants, we're just running Disobedience. We can't really use Juggernauts because we're using Teleport as our enchantment, along with Meteor as our enchantment. Now, the reason why we are using Teleport, it means that we don't need an extra defensive skill on our hotbar. So we can use Arc Lash, you can use Frost Nova, you can use Flame Shield, and then you've got room for Blizzard, Meteor, and Inferno. Now, every time we dodge, we are getting a barrier. So that is a great way of survivability because we can rotate the Flame Shield. We've got 2 charges of the Frost Nova in our chest piece. So you can see I'm consistently in a barrier. I've got another dodge back now. I can run into a fight. I can hit Frost Nova. Again, I can do Teleport off my dodge button. and that is an amazing way of keeping that survivability up with all those charges of defensive skills. We do want the ranks to Meteor and Blizzard on the pants. It does help with that damage and gets Meteor over that 10 ranks. On the boots, we are running Audacity. Just when we start the fight, everything is instantly stunned, just because the Seneschal construct is a little slow, especially if you're speeding through dungeons. Any rank of defensive skills is good. I like Frost Nova just to reduce the cooldown of the charges. And then you want movement speed, mana cost reduction, damage reduction, while injured is good, or intelligence, or all stats is also great. For the wand, we want to be running a wand, so we've got the extra lucky hit chance. You want to be going... vulnerable damage is nice, mastery skill damage is important, damage to stunned is great, damage to burning is awesome. You could technically run damage to distant as well. Now, the amulet is very important. We're not running a unique amulet. We are using our amulet to put on control, because control is amazing with this build. You get 53% more damage to immobilized, stunned, or frozen enemies. Now, if you look at our skills, we are constantly applying immobilized with meteors. We are constantly applying stun through our Seneschal construct and Audacity on the boots, and through teleport and arc lash. We are constantly freezing enemies with Frost Nova and from Blizzard as well. So when you apply all those things, we almost have this 53% damage buff up all the time, which is just huge. Now, the rings, we do want 2 uniques. You want Tau Rashes, because we're getting up to 15% increased damage for 4 seconds, dealing elemental damage, refreshes, all bonuses. And that's for each type of elemental damage. Now, we're getting extra types via the Seneschal construct, and from lightning, from fire, from frost damage, which is huge. X-Falls is amazing with all those elements. It does erupt, doing a big damage number, which is what we were seeing there on the training dummies. And we want, for your offhand, for your focus, to imprint the Avalanche key passive. Now applies to 1 additional cast. It just means we can keep that mana loop going and keep Blizzard and just keep spamming it. Now, this build is great for all content, Nightmare Dungeons, endgame, boss grind, but it is just fun. It is the most fun I have had playing a build. So for the Paragon, as you can see, I'm only level 83, and I was destroying, level 93, 94 enemies with a breeze, with Blizzard, Meteors. So for the full Paragon board, check the link in the description, the D4 builds, to see the full Paragon and what glyphs we're taking up. So guys, that's all for the build. I hope you have enjoyed it. Please come join me on Twitch. Link's also in the description, where I stream from Thursdays through to Saturdays, where you can see me continue to min-max this build and push this to an endgame. I will do a level 100 build guide that I'll update to the description once we hit to level 100. But yeah, look forward to seeing you all, and I hope you've enjoyed the build guide. Let me know in the comments if you're liking, and again, it is free to hit that subscribe button. Your support goes a long way to helping me continue to make more content for you into the future. Thank you so much, and enjoy the Meteor Storm.